So, welcome to Granblue Radio. This is episode number 201. So, I've been jokingly calling this the start of a new season, because why not, right? We'll do this again in number 401, maybe if there is a 401. We don't know. Anyway, as always, I'm Vibrating Sheep, the translator admin for at Granblue EN on Twitter. As always, with me is my co-host. Introduce yourself to the fine people for the new season.
Hello, new people. I'm DJ, as always.
What new people? Who knows? Anyway, maybe there will be new people on YouTube. As you can see, we're in the middle of Unite and Fight right now. There's not much to say about Unite and Fight. I'm just full autoing it and have full autoed it. This will come back up later. But um, what we should be talking about in just a few attacks is what's happened this week in Granblue Fantasy, and then after that we will be getting straight to the mailbox, and then we'll be done. Short episode, right, DJ?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, just hold on. Let's have Six finish beating this thing's ass. It's fine. Is that done? Yeah, it is. All right, reload. So, what we've been doing is just full autoing, of course. It's the life of Unite and Fight. What am I doing? I'm just reloading it. Okay. Hold on.
Has it been a year since they implemented full auto? Because I remember the first one that we did was Get Dark, wasn't it?
I want to say yes, but I don't know.
I just remember the picture of Nier looking in from the outside because none of her buttons hit during full auto.
I would have to look, and that would require a lot more effort than I'm willing to put in right now, this moment. So, all right. So let's go. What we have is we have a new character, two new characters, but one who's actually brand spanking new and one who got out of SR jail. So let's go to the draw screen and take a look. Um, Congratulations to the people who won the fan favorite. Well, it's not the fan favorites poll anymore. It's the draw banner poll. Anyway, so this is a new normal of just a bunch of new characters winning the polls. However,
Mm-hmm.
let's go ahead and look at the new characters that we got. Thankfully, none of whom are limited, so we can actually look them up without having rolled them. So, first up, do you want to actually new character or old character first?
Let's go with new character first.
All right, so let's go to Fiorito. Where is she? Where? Look for the dumbbell, the barbell. I'm sorry. There she is.
She should be an Earth.
Yep. All right. So Fiorito, a completely new character out of nowhere. Um, she's got something that a few people may not recognize on her hands. We'll get to that later. But this is another Earth attacker, and it's like we were talking about how Earth was very, very dependent on limited characters. Well, she's not a limited character, but there's a lot going on with her kit that we'll need to take in. So let's go. Step one: Earth attack melee. So you're thinking already. You're thinking it's like, all right, well, we've got the chicken,
You got Ire.
you've got Ire, Mireille, and Rosette. I want to keep wanting to say Rosette. You've got Soriz, etc., etc. So you're like, okay, we'll see what she works with. She dispels on CA.
Pretty nice. That's actually really helpful in a lot of places.
Pretty convenient. She has something called Trilock Smash as her first skill. Trilock Smash also happens to be the CA of. Let's just go there right now. Shop,
You're fighting the fist.
Moon Shop, Gold Moons, not superlatives. It's vintage. Where are you? Is it the last page? No, there it is. The Sphyri. The Trilock Smash right there, which is what's on her hand. And the Spy Ray comes with a boost to attack based on how many melee weapons you have equipped. But this is a 30 moon only weapon, or like the Unite and Fight special SSR ticket. So what we have uh, is minus defense on that skill, and earth damage based on how many melee weapons you have equipped in your grid. So how does this scale, DJ? Do you have it open?
I have it open. So, If there's 0 weapons in your melee weapons, it's 190 cap.
That's pretty
One
bad.
weapon is 220.
That's still not very good.
2 weapons is 460.
That's get
Three
approaching
weapons is
acceptable.
700.
700's fine.
4 weapons is 900.
That's really good.
And 5 weapons is 1.1 mil.
That's really good. Okay, all right. And
Also, the
so,
defense down is 25% defense on single modifier.
which is something that Earth for a long time struggled with, getting capped defense down. Like Cagliostro, for example, was only what 15 to 20%. It's not that
Something
it's
like
not that
that.
high. Um, but it's much easier now if you have chicken or a
Look,
couple of other characters.
we're trying to avoid the limiteds.
It keeps coming back to the chicken.
It
Like,
always comes back to chicken. It always comes back to limiteds. Let's be
but
honest.
yeah, but it's like when you compare her to the defense down from regular SSRs in Earth, it's like, okay, Sora's has a stacking one. That one's pretty good.
Yeah, and stacking is pretty good.
Um, there's we already talked about Cagliostro, who's like pretty decent now, but it took her a very long time to get there. Um, you have Ilsa, who's bad. So there's like this long list of things where you just go, nope, nope. I think Halloween Eustace has a defense down now, and it's still not very.
Uh,
No one uses him. Hold on, let me look this up. Do do do. I'm really curious because they've changed him a bunch of times.
Earth defense down
He has
twenty five
Earth. Oh, it's
percent.
25% Earth defense down, but he's a limited character, so it's like, oh, we
Also,
always.
also it's pretty low base accuracy of 80% instead of like 100.
Oh Jesus, that's not good. Yeah. So like when you're talking about defense down in Earth, it's pretty slim pickings unless you're just using your main character's slots on that. And so Trilock Smash on its own already worth looking at. So it's like if you don't have chicken. Let's keep moving. Um Bulk up. You eat your HP and you attack twice. We've seen this before. It's amazing. It's on Predator. It's
Yep,
really
five
good.
5 turn cooldown eats 80% of your HP.
80%? That's a
Correct.
little that's a little more than the Predator tax, but it's okay because she has a lot more going on for her at low health than Predator does. There's the anabolic steroid, so eat a macho meal and get Rosa blooming. So you eat chicken breasts and broccoli,
I
and
mean, that's in her character description.
yeah, and you get 4 Rosa packs, which is a little weird given that it's referring to her abs and she has a 6 pack. But this is fine. You can max out at 6. You get a 4 pack to start.
It allows you to survive at one.
Yeah, and
It's pretty nice.
it's one for each stack, isn't it? Like one per turn per stack.
I assume so. Let's see here. It takes a legal hit without being knocked out. Consumes 1 pack.
Oh, it's not a restriction of how many times per turn. Okay, so yeah, and then her support skills. One of them explains just how Rosa packs work. Um, when she's in the red, she gets a nuke at the end of the turn. We've seen that on Kolulu, and it's amazing on Kolulu. Boost to your attack and defense based on how low your HP are. Which so how strong is it? You have it open?
Yeah, I have it open. So if you're between 100% and 75%, there's nothing there. Her attack on unique modifier, by the way. So 75 through 50, you get 15 attack, 25 defense.
Mm-hmm.
50 to 25 scales up the same way until 25-0, which is 45% and 75%.
So reasonably, if she hits herself in the face to bulk up, and actually wait, it's sacrifice 80% of caster's HP and not max HP, isn't it? So it's just
Yes.
so you can just keep using it, unlike something like Predator where it's based on your max HP and it'll tell you don't have enough HP to use it at a certain point. Interesting, interesting. So yeah, um,
Like something else to note about Rosa Pack, according to this note in the wiki, you only lose 1 stack per turn.
okay. So for 6 turns, she can withstand a lethal hit theoretically, a lethal hit. Um, Muscles don't lie. Gain these effects in order based on how many melee weapons you have equipped. So this is the sticky part. This is how you make her good, and this is sort of one of those things where they're probably going to experiment with this in the future. So muscles don't lie. Gain these effects in order based on how many melee weapons you have. One melee weapon, boost to attack.
30% a unique modifier.
Two melee weapons, boost to defense.
100% defense.
100% defense is really good, by the way, especially since she already has, like you've hit the bulk up button and she's got 75%. It's like okay. Um, Next up, you get deal multi attacks guaranteed.
Yeah.
After that, she gets a boost to her damage cap,
Percent.
and then at the last one, she gives herself chaser.
30% chaser.
The videos that people have made of this are pretty wild of her just like smacking things for what 1.2 million with 30% chaser and then whatever other chasers she can pick up.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. The big problem is 5 melee weapons. So here's the thing about earth and melee weapons. It's very easy to get the first 3 or 4. Earth,
Yeah.
melee. So we've got ourselves the Fist of Uriel. You should probably have that out anyway. There's a cap up Baihu Claw. It's like, okay. The next Baihu Claw is crit, so you can have a guaranteed crit fist grid, by the way, with double Titan. It's pretty funny. Then we go into other fist weapons. So let's see here. Let's go take a look at characters and earth fists specifically. And we're going to have to go into the gacha for this one. So her own weapon, not actually a fist. It's an axe because it's a barbell and you're slapping people over the head with it. So here's the ancient bandages. Ancient bandages are one of those things that are recommended for Titan players anyway because they help you live. And it's enmity, double attack, and garrison. So it's like the enmity and the garrison, great for Fiorito specifically. Alright, so that's one option if you have them. Then you go down and you're like, what about Sora's fist or something like that? It's like the Sora's fist, kind of bad. It's like,
Yeah.
but something that's actually really good, and once again requires a huge amount of investment because how many people have rolled 4 Dantes? Have you actually looked at the Neko Punch Pro?
I have not.
So it's medium attack, medium crit, medium double attack.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. So that's 4. And then in the last one, you're like, okay, we might be scraping a little bit. Let's see what we're doing here. And then the rest of it you can fill in with crit, and it works out pretty well. But
Very moon weapon.
yeah, then after that, you're like, okay, Ladiva's weapon is garbage. I don't know if you've looked at Ladiva's fist, the rainbow hand.
You're playing this character for low health. This is not gonna help you at all.
It's HP stamina, yeah. And it's small stamina. That's the worst part is it's small stamina. And you're like, why? And so yeah, that's when you start drawing your eye over to this Fire Eye thing. So we go over to Trade Moons, and we go back to this, and our friend the Fire Eye somewhere. There it is. And then yeah, you want 5 fists for this thing. It's medium crit, so you're like, okay, I can get guaranteed crit on fist. And it's just like, with Ultima Fist, that works out too. But, you know, in order to get really good melee weapons, you're going to have to dip into something that actually costs you resources other than farm.
You can use a Rose Queen Fist.
It's not. A lot of this is fill-in. That's the thing. Like, if you get to the ones that you're proud of, right now it does require investment. And Magna has access, by the way, to 2 of these reasonably. Like, you'll be using the Fist of Uriel, and you are going to be equipping the cap up Baihu Fist. but it's a little bit tough, right?
Yeah.
This is one of those things that you just have to look into the future, and every time they print a new fist for Earth, you're like, okay, can I use this one? Can I use this one yet? Um, and it's something that people who are in love with the All Might battle axe are used to, because they've been just scraping for a bow for the entire time the All Might battle axe has been in existence. Yeah, there's a comment in chat. It's like maybe the Arcarum fist will be good enough when it gets an uncap.
Oh yeah. The Emerald Duke.
Is that what it's called? It's in here
Your
somewhere.
Emerald Duke.
The Emerald Duke. That sounds like one of those really pretentious things that like a dandy names his fist, where it's like Duchess and Duke. You'll meet the royalty. It's like okay.
Uh huh.
But yeah, so the Emerald Duke is well, it's going to be getting a 4-star, and it'll be available in Arcarum as the 11th slot. So that's not awful, but still, that's Arcarum only. So
Oh, there's a weapon in here that most people can't get anymore, and it was garbage to begin with.
what was it?
Fang Sand,
Oh,
the poison hand.
the Poison Hand.
The thing was
God,
garbage.
that thing's so old. Do I still have one?
I broke mine a long time ago, dude.
I think I broke mine a long time ago too, but I have to know. Oh God, speaking of garbage, there's my Lion King fist. Oh, there's also the True Grit. It's also not good. You're not supposed to be equipping this thing past a certain point.
I just have one anyways.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, that's the sticking point when it comes to Fiorito. It requires a lot of investment for her to be good, and then when she's good, she's really good, like really really good. But I mean, I can't build that grid to make her good.
I don't have the resources for that.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I'm just going to be looking at my SSR Earth fists in my it's like oh baby. The Jessica weapon is a fist. Oh baby. The
It doesn't have bad skills.
the cocktail for Summer Alex, 4-starable fist. Oh baby.
Hey, it has sentence. Sentence is cool if you're
Oh
hitting
man.
cap.
Yeah, this isn't happening. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, there's a fairly budget one where it's like the Fist of Uriel. It's 2 Malice Fists. It's like 1 Ancient Bandage, and it's the Ultima Claw. And it makes her work. Like she works at high efficiency there. But the question is, like, when you're doing that, how much of it is just being carried by the fact that you have Kaim in the back and you're playing Highlander?
Yeah, yeah. Also, once again, I don't really recommend this for Magna
Hmm.
per se,
Yeah.
because at that point you already have 4 primals.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not great, but the potential is there, and if you can use the character in that way, she sings. Like, it's crazy good. You know, let's talk about how popular always multi attacks with chaser, um, high enmity characters are, right?
What we're talking about? I can't believe someone something that some people use during this guild war or something.
Yeah, I don't know about. It's just
Hmm.
So anyway, I'm looking forward to eventually getting this character and making her work, but I'm not making it a priority to do so because it's hard. Like it's very difficult to make this work.
Like I would switch to Titan if I actually had the resources, but I don't.
Right, it
So
requires a lot of resources. Like, and I'm perfectly happy with my Earth Magna right now, which means that this character will not be at peak efficiency for me. It's kind of like me and Kolulu because I'm not playing Enmity with skill cap up anymore. But Like, the character's still really good. It's just that I am not in a position to use her the same way.
Gotta bring out the maximum potential.
Yeah, I mean, she's still good without it. I used her in EX Plus, but when I'm not enmitying with a bunch of like skill cap and supplemental, then there's other characters I could be using who can just work better with my current grid of stamina, which I've invested a lot into, and I don't have the money to put into Gislas and Vagabond. And that's sort of the same way things are with Fiorito. Now, we're going to come back to this later, but the other thing to note about Fiorito, everybody was talking about this if they were at all watching anime over the last year and a half or so, or even just aware of anime memes. But
Onegai muscle. Duh, 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 duh. That
yeah,
one.
like, given that she's voiced by Ai Fairuz, who was the main character of How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift, and her weapon is a very heavy dumbbell, people are
Yeah.
like, okay, alright, look. Look.
I feel like this is intentional.
Maybe. It might be a little bit intentional. There might be a little bit of a voice actor reference going on here. Alright, anything else we want to say about Fiorito before we move on to Feather?
Nope.
Alright, let's go to Feather. The boy, he's out of jail. Were we
Yeah, he's
talking?
pretty brolic, dude.
Have you did we talk about Feather potentially getting out of jail this year? I think we did. I want to say we did.
This is probably one of our hope wishes.
So here's the boy Feather. It's been what 3 years since his SR. He got a 5-star for his SR in the meantime.
He also has a Halloween version.
Yeah, he got a Halloween version. And so he's out of SR jail, and he's gotten his SSR. And as you said, it's pretty brolic. So light melee. And then you get the old juices flowing again. You're like, okay, who else is good in light fist? And you're like, Amira. That's where it starts. And you're like, okay, that's a good start. Except that I don't think that they actually work with each other. Let's go
Yeah, they
take a
could.
look. All
They
right.
could.
So, his CA, it gets an extra hit based on how many Azure Fists he has. How many hits is it? How much does each hit do, DJ?
I'm looking at it right. I'm looking for it right now.
Okay.
100K per hit.
That's pretty solid when you get into things like skill cap, which the game is very, very helpful for these days.
Mm-hmm.
And so, all right, how does he get Azure Fist stacks, you ask? Well, he does it by punching. And so this is the great thing about Feather. So the early versions of Feather were great for a different era of GBF because the fundamental mechanic of Feather as a character as an R and as an SR was to press a button and make himself stronger. And it was stackable up to the point where it was hitting harder than your SSRs were. And
I remember those early Baja runs.
yeah, that dude was punching real hard. He was punching harder than almost every SSR I had. Like he was a tough boy. He was a strong boy. Um, but nowadays you get the same kind of thing automatically just by living longer. Like,
I mean, they changed Seox to be that way too.
mhm.
So
So you don't have to press the button anymore.
that
Well,
was
but
horrible to play.
yeah, for Feather, his old versions still play like that. But in this case, he just gets them passively. So, um, we go down to how you get Azure Fist. You get it whenever he triple attacks or he charge attacks. Well,
Well, his first ability is that he triple attacks always.
he always triple attacks, and he's more likely to be targeted. I believe the math was that he has +5 hostility, so that under
Plus
normal,
10.
it's +10.
So he's 40% likely to be hit.
No, that's +5. +10 would be 15 divided by 40. Uh, is that right? No, it's 15 out of 30. That would be 50% chance to be targeted if he was +10. So it's +5 to be 40%. Please trust me.
Okay.
So anyway, we'll get into that math at another point someday. But anyway, so yeah, he's always gonna get an Azure Fist unless he's like paralyzed or something.
Or
By
he's defending.
yeah, so Packing a punch, he attacks without taking up a turn. That's a 4-turn cooldown. Usually, there's a downside associated with having a cooldown this short on it.
Yeah. Anyways,
I mean, his downside is that
four
he's
turns.
yeah, he's like even Pengi's is what? Oh, it's 0, but it kills her,
She'll
right?
kill herself if she uses it too much.
Yeah. What's Ingve's again? We always talk about this. Ingve's I think is 5. Nope, it's 4. It's 4. There's no downside to it. All right. Anyway, um, so attack without using up a turn. He's always going to triple attack with that attack. He gives himself chaser for one of those turns, and that chaser is 50%, which is really good.
That's pretty high.
And then once he gets Azure Fist 5, he refreshes all of his cooldowns. He gets to hit each of these extra times. Like, and he gives himself full meter in order to just do another Raging Blast Knuckle.
You know, that 60 turns, we can mitigate that with a Kirin summon.
Or, pair him up with like Shitori or something like that to get 10 less turns on it. It's not the worst, but yeah, you could just pack a summon for it. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the combo videos where it's like turn 1, turn on Lightning Knuckle, triple attack with 50% chaser. So that's already one Azure Fist. You hit tag team, that's 2 Azure Fists. You Kirin, you pack a punch, that's 4 Azure Fists. You tag team, that's 5 Azure Fists. Now you can hit the Soulful Finisher and pack a punch 2 more times.
Have you seen the Fedial combo video?
Yeah, it's 2-turn Fedial.
Yeah, that's pretty good. He just dies.
Oh my goodness. What a boy. What a boy. I'm gonna get this boy at some point. Um, the other thing about Feather to talk about is the Hope-Filled Knuckles. So the Hope-Filled Knuckles, um, it's the blow skill, which is on Zweishadel, and it's 4-starable immediately. So there's a bunch of things going for you if you actually do roll Feather. And does he bring nothing for the rest of the party? He brings damage. He accepts buffs very well. Like characters like this, you're really not looking for what he brings to the party. What he brings to the party is the ability to attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times on turn 1. 7.
I think we should also talk about his more about his second ability of push it to the limit, where he just gets cap up as well as a unique modifier.
So how much cap up does he get for each Azure Fist?
5% cap up for each Azure Fist and 10% unique attack for each Azure Fist.
Plus 10, 15 out of...
So it goes to 50% attack and 25% cap up. He's also guaranteed triple attack, so that blow ability that you were talking about is really good. But also, don't forget there's the what's it called, Hollow Sky Axe.
Yes.
That's pretty nice.
All right.
Yeah, this character does the deeps.
He does a lot. Um, he does a lot of damage. He doesn't do a lot of like utility. The utility is the boss is dead at the end of his turns.
I mean, that's the best debuff ever, right?
Death is a
dead
great
boss.
debuff to inflict. I've got to say. I'm looking forward to this. I want to see it. I don't think he'll be ticketable before Light Unite and Fight. So, good luck.
I'll wait for him.
Yeah. I want him for Light Favored Unite and Fight, but I won't need him. It's just going to be really hilarious with him. He's definitely a ticketable for me. All right. Anything else that we want to say about these guys?
I'm gonna.
So yeah, I was doing the math in my head about hostility, by the way. So the way that it works is it's plus 10 if you assume that the base hostility is 10. If you assume the base hostility is 5, then it's plus 5. So it's based on your whatever your current assumption is, and some people do it
Okay.
differently. That's all. He has approximately double the normal hostility value, which does not actually mean that he has double the chance to get hit.
It means that he has 2 eggs in the basket where everyone else has one. So
Correct.
that makes 40%.
Yes. He has an extra egg in that basket that the boss is pulling from to target. Do you think his weapon is worth chocolating? Um, Only if you're already doing more than enough damage. So, like, if you are already a grid that caps out on auto attacks, which not all light grids are, then it's gonna be great for you. For example, I'm using Crit Magna or Sword Cosmo Magna, and neither of those are gonna use that very well. Like,
Nope.
no, nobody. What about you, DJ? Would you be able to use the Hope Knuckle, the Hope-filled Knuckle?
I don't have a 5-star opus yet. So nope.
All right, but would you with your 5-star Opus? Do you think you hit hard enough to do all of that?
I probably could, actually.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's kind of the cherry on top of something that where you're already capping and you're looking for ways to expand.
Once again, I go back from last episode where I wish they change Commentain to being Reinhardt's Arfist.
All right. Is there anything else to say about these new characters and their new weapons?
Nothing but the characters.
All right. Handsome Gorilla's coming back. Uh,
Ooh.
there's nothing much to say about it. Get your Arcarum points. Take a break. Shit post on Twitter. It's officially sanctioned. Just just post on Twitter your stupid ideas, and it's sanctioned. Do it. Do it. I'll do it. I'm not
It's always
afraid.
fun. It's always fun. I like when we did the ones at the hotel.
Yeah, the ones at the hotel were good. I'll show
Someone.
those pictures again.
Oh man, did you see the one where someone drew them as Lancelot and Percival?
Yes.
That one's so good.
All right. So that is it for the Granblue Radio portion of this, the regular stuff that we talk about. Next up, we're going to be doing the mail segment. So the mail segment is something that's new to this episode. This is something that we were talking about doing as of last week as part of our code giveaway. And we just asked Twitter if they had any. Oh, geez, this is so hard to read. What about the collab announcement? Should that be saved for the end? We're going to save that for the end. So, this is going to be something that's a little bit different. Uh, this is a little bit out of the ordinary. This is something that we haven't really done on Granblue EN before because we don't really make it about us. We make it about the game and the people who make the game. This one's more for fun. And once again, like, we're not going to answer any questions about like the future of the game necessarily. We don't know any of that stuff. We don't know, like, we can tell you what the developers have said, but that's the limits of it. But anyway,
I think the last time you did something kind of like this was that episode you did with Shay like years ago. Where it was like debunking Granblue Myths or something like that.
yeah, Granblue Mythbusters, that was a fun one. That's been a long time.
Yeah, I guys only did one episode of that.
Yeah. All right. So, the first question came from XD85696175. Um, the most important question is this going to be a long episode? And I say no. It's not going to be a long
Compared
episode.
to last week's episode when it was supposed to be a short episode, no,
It's not a long episode.
we're
So,
still within an hour.
on to the actual question. I'm very curious, why did y'all begin this account? I mean, its initial purpose. Was it for helping or something else? Anyway, I'm really grateful to have this EN account, which helps us be informed, otherwise we'd be probably lost. So, um, the reason that this account exists is because on Discord, I was the designated translator of every piece of news that came out. And I would spread this to like 3 different discords every time. It would be like on Shay's Radiance Discord, on a friend's Discord, on our Discord. And at one point, an old friend of mine, uh, Granblue EN East Coast, said, "Hey Dom, you do all of this work and it's not written down anywhere. We should probably start an account." And so we started an English account. And I mean, that was 3.5 years ago now. We've done a whole lot. Like, we've done way more than I expected we would do, thanks to the efforts of Granblue and East Coast and Tokyo. Like, there's more to come, but we did this specifically so that all of my work would not just be thrown in to be distributed to like 50 people total. And now it's got a 50,000 follower base, which is
That's really good.
a little weird, honestly. It's like, oh, well, thanks for joining me in this like very nostalgic 90s style RPG. All right.
I
So
do
yeah,
I do feel like translation accounts like this help out a lot because I'd be lost with Princess Connect if we didn't have the Princess Connect one as well. It's not by us, by the way, but just them telling the radio news as well. And that one's only Japanese. There's no English side at all for that
and
game.
yeah, there's no English site at all for Princess Connect. And like people were trying to figure out if a Princess Connect a, like trademark being made in Europe was a sign of anything, but people were like, wait, maybe it's just for the Dragalia Lost collab. We don't know. But yeah, like even in something that is officially supported in English, like Granblue Fantasy, it's not like the news comes in English, but everything else is um, just left to stay in Japanese until it actually comes out and becomes an in-game news post.
Mm-hmm.
Like Choregra, which lists out what's happening for the entire month, or the 3 hour long streams that give us news for like a good hour of them or something like that. Those are still left in Japanese, and so yeah, like there's still so much work to do. That
And
even in something that is officially supported in English like this is.
and everyone appreciates it, Dom.
Sometimes I wonder, but yeah, it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding. Do they have a date for the December stream yet? Not yet. We'll find out at some point in the near future, just like we found out what the December collab is. So, moving on to the next question, DJ. This one is it was a pretty common theme. So multiple people asked, "How do you stay motivated during grinding for long periods of time?" Or one that's relevant right now, this moment. How do you deal with post Unite and Fight burnout, or just burnout in general?
So last year they added a feature called Full Auto. It's pretty nice. I don't have to look at my screen.
And that's one thing, but the bigger perspective on avoiding burnout in a game like this game is meant to be a long-term game. Um, People talk about grind blue fantasy and they're trying to like get things as quickly as possible, but honestly, the way that I look at this game, there's 2 different backgrounds I'm coming from here, and they're 2 different ways to look at why you're playing this game and what you enjoy in this game. Because when you're talking about like burnout for grind and stuff like that, like what is your goal for grinding? If you don't have a goal other than I am getting stronger, then there's no enjoyment in that grind.
Mm-hmm.
Like people complain about the 5-star eternal process, and admittedly, that's really long and really tough. I finished it like a yearish ago, and so there's parts of it that I don't fully remember anymore. But like the reward that you get at the end, all save like a couple of them, is really really wild. And so when it comes to something like a 5-star Eternal, right? There's a lot of steps, and one of the biggest things that you do in a game like this, in an MMO, in things like World of Warcraft, in Final Fantasy 14, you look ahead and you give yourself like a reasonable set of expectations. You're not going to get everything that you want right now. In a game like this, you kind of can by just throwing money at the problem, but I don't recommend that because once again, like what's your plan? What are you looking to do by throwing money at your grid when, like if you throw money at your grid right now, are you the kind of person who will complain when they print something new that might be a slight improvement, or when they, uncap Magna again and Magna is suddenly really good, and it's like all of the stuff that I was able to do because of all of this like investment is something that I am now angry about. And like, what's your goal? Like, you need to find out a goal, figure out why you're doing it, and then work toward it at your own pace. That's step one. That's what I learned from MMOs.
Hmm.
Um, the other thing is like you look at what you really enjoy in this game. Like what, not just what your goal is, but what's your enjoyment. And so when I'm getting myself motivated to do a long grind, the thing that I do is I can mentally separate things into like puzzles for me to solve. I come from a card game background. Like I played a lot of Magic the Gathering, and one of the joys of Magic the Gathering, and one that I see a lot in Granblue Fantasy, is that what you're doing is you are working with a limited tool set, and you're trying to figure out what works with what else, and you're trying to make these pieces fit together into this like beautiful engine once it gets working. It's super satisfying to get your engine working in a card game. Like I know that you don't play that much Magic, DJ, but you do play like Vice
True.
Wars, and it's like when you get your, like even when your deck sucks, if there's a goal and you get to see that goal happen, you're just like, I've won.
Oh, so it was like how one of my decks is not made to win. It's made to see which of us can swing face for eight fastest.
Right, and just like there are teams that I make in this game that are not meant to just beat everything. They're meant to be fun, and they're meant to have a fun end game in mind. Like, and when I say end game, I don't mean it like end game raid where you're grinding for the best equipment or whatever. I mean like what your plan is and what the fulfillment of that plan looks like. So, for example, when I was playing like Dark Dagger isn't necessarily the strongest Dark team, but when you have Eustace and you have Vania and you have like Nier, you're basically looking to supercharge somebody, right? And
Hmm.
Vania makes it so that the enemy doesn't do anything. Or if you splash in, I'm using the term splash as if it was a card game. If you splash in Olivia, the boss really doesn't do anything, right? And so that's what's fun to me, and that's how I maintain enjoyment. And
Yeah,
then
there's only three extra slots if you don't count the MC that you're allowed to play with, and there's so many characters that you could just have fun with.
like we talk about how even in this episode, Chicken goes and everything. Like she's the most powerful, most versatile Earth character. But it's like I don't use her in everything. Sometimes I'll be using like Golden Knight Eugen, which is super powerful. Sometimes like I play Diantha. I play freaking like what else do I have? Let me just take a quick look at my Earth teams just to see the stupid things that I do and I'm willing to do. Oh, here's Dante. There's my Dante team. Um, there's two Eugen GK teams. Here's Kame Frontline with Vazara Gazetta. Like, there's just so many fun interactions that I keep going back to. Oh man, and Like, none of these are necessarily the best at what they do. If I need to actually be the most powerful person I can be, then I'll do that. There's the Christmas Narmaya. Like, I've acquired things over the course of playing this game, just like playing a card game, that are just the best in slot. But best in slot gets boring. Like, it's been 2 years since I had Summer Zoe in a team. Did you know that, DJ?
Yes. I'm not surprised either.
Like, there's, she's the best at what she does, but there's other things for me to be doing, and so I do that. Like, that's how I avoid um, a lot of burnout, is just by finding what is satisfying for me personally and doing that instead. And then when it comes to like grinding weapons and things like that, well, the grind itself isn't necessarily that fun, no. But once again, it's about reasonable expectation setting. Like, how long did it take for us to farm freaking Majestus?
Uh, hmm.
I
I
think,
blinked out.
yeah,
Really.
right. But we did it just doing like 1 or 2 Tia Malices a day for like 5, 6 months.
Also, don't forget the Nuba staff grind too. We just hosted it with our crew and just like, okay,
Right. The part where this is a social game helps a lot as well to avoid burnout. Like, people were talking to us about how do you deal with post Unite and Fight burnout. Meanwhile, in our crew Discord, we're talking about like who has the best basketball game in Granblue Fantasy. Who would you pick for your 3v3? Like, that'll come up later. I think that's actually a question we'll answer in the inbox at some point. But it's like there's so much more to this game than just the grind. So don't focus on it. Like, if the grind becomes something that you don't want to do, don't do it. I've said multiple times, like, I could have had the blue skin for Gran Regita like 5 times over by now. I've done all of the worst parts of that grind. I have all the gold bricks. I have all the Huanglong and Keelan anima. I have all of the Akasha keys. All of these things. But I just don't want to do Angel Halo anymore, so I don't. And like, would the blue skin give me any personal satisfaction? A little bit, but I've decided that it's not worth it, so I don't do it.
I think one of the main things, and this goes for like any game, is that you should always take things at your own pace.
Yeah, and the thing is that like, I'm saying this is a huge grind lord. Like, I'm not gonna call myself the top 1% or anything like that, but like, look at the evokers. I went into the evokers knowing what my goal was, and knowing for a fact that I was going to be holding myself back on getting all 10 of them by taking my goal. My first evoker was near, before the buff.
Ooh, yeah, that's How many Dark Astros do you have in extra right now?
Hold on, let's go take a look at this. Let's see here.
Because I have a lot, and I made her after the buff.
I currently have 178 Dark Astros, and that's after using 30 on the Claw of Terror. So I have basically an entire other near worth of Astras.
Yeah, my
But
plan was I blitzed fire for both of them.
yeah, and like, you had a goal, you kept track of how long it would take you to get that goal, and you kept your expectations reasonable. And like, we say this all the time. Handsome Gorilla's coming up. It's a rerun. Enjoy the story, maybe auto some things, take a break. It's a built-in break. You do not have to get everything that's in Handsome Gorilla. Like, it's a playground. Just play with it. And when we talk about people who are um, at 90 Arcarum passports, I'm just like, hit skip. You're not missing it. Like, you will miss out more on on not doing Arcarum and letting that ticket go to waste than you will just hitting skip. Like, you have this fear of missing out of what that one Arcarum ticket will potentially gain you, but it's like, just use it. That's my theory of doing things. Like, if it's stressing you out to just look at your Arcarum passport, it's like homework, and that's not what you want to be doing in a video game.
Games
Homework.
are for fun.
Then again, I'm the kind of person who does homework for fun. Like, I mean, I freaking run a translation account. I do homework for fun in this game. I'm sorry.
True.
But like that's how I talk about staying motivated for grinding. For staying motivated for grinding, I keep goalposts. And when I don't get the thing that I want immediately, I go, okay. I mean, I've worked long enough in data analysis to know it's a 3% chance. That means that doing it 33 times, that 34th time, I will have a 3% chance. It will be the exact same chance as before. So anyway, that's my advice on that. We've said it a few times before, but not as in depth as this.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add, DJ? Or
No, I already said my piece.
all right. The next piece of the mail is okay. So why that profile pic? So the Granblue EN profile picture is, if you haven't seen it, it's Zoe pinned by Ladiva in Granblue Fantasy Versus. I love
And
this face.
that the other one was like before that was used for such a long time. The Jita with the take a look.
Yeah, the take a look Jita from the anime. I saw this picture and I fell in love with it because, I mean, we did commission Sasha Call to do our own version of this, which let's see, Vibrate One Zoe. Let's put that in chat if you have that. But I love Arc System Works faces. I played Faust in Guilty Gear, and Faust is all about not all about it, but his instant kills in two different games have just been about making the rest of the cast make a sour face. And honestly, because look at that surprise Pikachu. It's the same face. Look at that face. It's the same. So
Oh
there's
yes, meme face.
yeah. So that's the story behind the profile pic and why I like it so much. And then the last question that we're going to be fielding today. This is a question from someone who apparently deleted the tweet, but TweetDeck remembers. It's T. Sukardi, who asks, in relation to the newest implementation of Fiorito, who's I Firuz, which Seiyu joke got you really hard in GBF? Um, so Granblue EN East Coast. I forgot to represent East Coast's answers in this one. Uh, he says the number of Sakurai Takahiros always gets a chuckle out of me.
Ah yes, the Sakurai 7.
The Sakurai 7, or the 7 Sakurai if you want to make it a little bit more like a certain Kurosawa movie. That one's just funny. Because, once you know who voices who, the fact that there are, multiple of the same person just having a conversation with each other is just a funny thing. Um, let's see here. There was another, um, answer from Granblue EN East Coast that I should go ahead and report actually before I forget, which is right, how do you stay motivated grinding for long periods of time? So the way that Granblue EN East Coast did it, uh, this is the quote from him. Granblue is like weightlifting. You're not going to get super gains overnight. Just do an hour of grind each day and then do something else. I don't plan on quitting anytime soon, so there's no need for me to be impatient. So once again, take the long view. You don't have to have it now. And then the other thing is how he would dedicate one strike time every day for Magna 2 trains and only that strike time and wouldn't even touch or look at those raids outside of it. So that's another way to deal with burnout is just don't feel forced to keep doing it just because you have the resources to keep doing it.
We have infinite AP. Let's be honest.
Attention is a resource. That's something that you learn about in video games, and just game theory. Attention and focus are a resource, and you have a finite amount of that. So yeah, don't run out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway, back to the iFiRu's question. Sorry for leaving you out of a few of these answers, Mr. Granblue EN East Coast. So the last one is, once again, which Seiyu joke got you really hard? Because we did make Seiyu jokes when it was Mireille and Risette as well, because that's Kaguya-sama
Kaguya-sama.
and Hayasaka Ai, yeah. Um, but the OG one is
You pulling up the picture?
Yep, there it is. Why is Catherine in a bathtub? This has nothing to do with her lore. It's never brought up in her Fate episodes. There's no reason for her to be in a bathtub. So why is she in a bathtub, DJ?
So the person who voices Catherine is Takahashi Chiaki,
The Chia King.
and yep, and it was an Ice Five, correct?
She was a member of Ice 5, the idol group that was formed by Horie Yui. That's correct.
And there's a point where she tore her Achilles, if I remember
She tore
correctly.
her Achilles tendon. That's correct.
So for one of their lives, they had her out in the couch, just sitting, laying down on the couch, just like kind of Catherine, like right there. There you go.
Oh, let's zoom in. Hold on. Enhance.
So yeah,
Enhance. There's no other reason for her to be in a bathtub. It's just Shia King rock it out. So if you look at uh the album cover and the shoot that they did during this time, because this was something like Ice Five's like 10th anniversary or something like that. Um, she's not putting any weight on that leg because her Achilles is torn. So what did they give her instead to put her weight on? A stripper pole, because why not? It's
I
really
mean,
funny. I'm
yeah.
not going to show that picture. This is a family friendly stream. But like they freaking lowered her from the ceiling in a couch. And she just stayed in that couch the entire time. It's so good.
It's really good.
It has nothing to do with anything. It's just like why is she in a couch? All right. So, anyway, that's it for the first Granblue Radio mail segment. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Deep VA Lord cuts from the devs. Yeah, it's like there's no reason for her to be in a bathtub. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just stupid. It's great. I love it. All right. So one very last piece of Granblue Fantasy news. Um, do you want to just let's see? Robomi's name is just Robo Megumi. I mean, that's yeah. She's named after her actress. All right. Actually, no. It's her actress's daughter. All right. Let's see here. Should we show the video or should we just talk about it?
It's up to you.
All right, we'll just talk about it then. So, they finally announced the December collab. It was announced hours after we did Granblue Radio last time.
Yeah, that happened. And you want to say the title?
Uh, so the thing about it is, this is another of those predictions that I made that I didn't tell anybody about, and I'm going, damn it! Like I told other people, but not you, and didn't do it in
Didn't do it in radio.
didn't do it in radio. But anyway, so the where is that? There it is. Let me just put this in here. The next collab is Kimetsu no Yaiba, aka Demon Slayer. That's the December collab.
Demon
Um,
Slayer's pretty popular.
just a little bit popular, like kind of
Kind of
popular.
outsold everything on Amazon, right?
It's out like because the movie came out, they were literally every top slot on the sales list. It's kind of a big deal, is what I'm trying to say.
Uh huh.
You may have heard of it. It's kind of a big deal. And as is the case with all of these collabs, let me go find the art from. Can I find that? Where'd all of my screenshots go? There it is. Found it. So the the first part of the collab, obviously the main three male characters. It's Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke who are coming in. Do you think that there'll be a team, or do you think that they'll be individual characters?
Usually we have like 2 or 3 characters from a collab, so I'd say individual.
I also think it's individual, largely because that's how we'll get Nezuko into the game, not just as a summon, but as of coming out of the box on Tanjiro's back.
Oh, can we get small Nezuko coming in running?
I want that, like just her running back and forth. And then here's Rengoku. I feel like Rengoku's going to be a boss. I don't know, but the other pillars are going to be in this as well. At least some of them. I'm not going to like speculate on which pillars are going to be there, but anyway, so that's coming.
All right.
It's gonna be pretty big. There's gonna be an influx of new players to Granblue Fantasy, given that Kimetsu no Yaiba is like the biggest anime and manga franchise right now.
We
Even though the
always
manga's over.
see like an influx of people because during collabs because it's from people from their fandom that join.
Hey, GB Versus just announced 450,000 sales. Nice, nice.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, um, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it for this week. Uh, we kept it to pretty much an hour, DJ. So it was
That was
an
short.
average length episode.
Isn't like our shortest like 40 minutes?
I think so.
That's pretty short.